it was an accident to leave a loaded .22 caliber rifle laying in the living room when you've got a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old? The magazine was full and attached when the 3-year-old little girl found it. Now this boy, look at him. Look at him. He's shot dead. Now I know that the shooting of the 3-year-old by the 3-year-old was an accident. I'm not trying to hold a 3-year-old girl responsible. But what I'm saying is the father leaves out a .22 caliber loaded rifle and everybody says it's an accident. Jim Kirkwood, talk show host KTKK, to me that's like saying drunk driving is an accident. But think about it. You got to go to the bar, you got to order the drinks, you got to drink several drinks, and you got to find your keys, and you got to walk to the car. Then you make a conscious decision to get behind the wheel and drive. Like this, it was no accident that he leaves the gun, a loaded .22, out in the living room with toddlers, a 2- and 3-year-old.
Well, you're correct, Nancy, and this certainly meets the standard of negligence. But on the other hand, there was not a round in the chamber, and for a 3-year-old to manipulate one is not an easy thing. I mean, that's a really smart girl, sadly, I have to say.
Can I ask you a question, Jim? You have children, right?
Yes.
Okay, because if you, like me, I remember when my children were 2, they were 2. The moment they started walking, they figured out all the locks on the door and could get out the kitchen door. And I had 3 locks on the door. They need to step up on the steps and reach the top lock and get out. This girl has clearly seen on TV or her father somebody holding a gun. The magazine was loaded and attached. Mike Duffy, what more do you know?
Nancy, well, what we know is that the 2 children were playing in the room together. Daddy seems to have come home from a hard day at work on the ranch. He sets down his gun, reportedly goes to the bathroom for a short break.
Wait, Duffy. What do you mean a hard day of work on the ranch? Why does he have to have a loaded rifle for his job?
Well, it's unclear at this point exactly why he was using the gun that day, but any number of reasons would explain it. Perhaps he was shooting some vermin that were out. Who knows? But what we do know is that the little
You're totally
girl
making that
up.
up.
The gun.
You don't know why he had a gun. He comes in and he leaves a gun laying out. I don't even know what you're saying, shooting vermin. But forget all that. I don't even care about that, Duffy. What I care about is he left the gun out. I mean, I'm too afraid with the children to play with a ball in the front yard. That I might go in the street. I mean, for Pete's sake, a .22 caliber rifle. Dr. Joy M. Carter, Chief Forensic Pathologist, Marion County, author of I Speak for the Dead. Dr. Carter, for a child, a 2-year-old, I can hardly even stand to look at him. For a child to sustain a shot to the stomach with a .22, that had to be so painful. And it's coming from a long gun, which means, does that mean that the shot went all different ways inside his body? What does that mean?
That means there's a lot of power behind firing that gun. There's a lot of power, and there's a lot of injury that's going to be done to the internal organs. The aorta is there. You've got your liver, punching your stomach. All these organs can bleed, and it may be impossible to get enough medical care to save the child's life.
And just like that, it's over. Karen Stark, tonight there have been no charges filed, but in my mind, when an adult leaves a loaded rifle, well, okay, the magazine was loaded and attached. To me, that's loaded. And you've got a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. That sounds an awful lot like a death wish.
Well, at the very least, Nancy, it's incredibly irresponsible, and you wonder when people own guns how they can do something like that, that there aren't more stringent laws to make sure that you can't be around children and things like that can't happen.
That's a really good point, Karen. Jim Kirkwood, KTKK, aren't guns in that jurisdiction supposed to be in a locked cabinet in the home?
Not necessarily, but they have to be kept in a safe manner, and clearly that was not safe. So it is a violation of the law, and that's why I think the county attorney will file charges.